In this video, we're going to take a look at the outer garden beds of the backyard. We're going to do a little bit of whatever this is. We'll do a little bit of whatever this is. Most of you know what this is. But follow along, see what's happening. July of 2024. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. Welcome to the Bowtie Gardens, and this is my personal journal of the things that are going on in the garden that I do every single month. This is a three-part video tour of the whole gardens. Our whole property is we are converting into gardens. We bought this place. In fact, here's a picture of our front yard and our backyard. When we bought this place years and years ago, I found these pictures here recently as I was organizing some files, and thought it was very interesting, and kind of shows you where we came from and what it's come to now. But yeah, here we have come a long way. We're growing a lot of stuff in the gardens. In fact, in this video, you're going to see we're going to harvest a little bit. In fact, some of you may know what this is for. We will be harvesting right up here. I saw a beautiful pomegranate right up here, and we're going to harvest that and try that. We're also going to cut a tree out of the blueberries that's causing trouble and hopefully keep that under control. It's something I keep doing. We're going to look at some watermelon and find out what watermelon are ripe to harvest. So, oh, and we also have two other items that have been harvested. One is done and one is still producing. So stick around and see where we're going. We are going to have this map of the property, this current map of the property, here in the corner of the screen that will show you basically where we're at in this backyard. It's a map of the backyard, sorry. We do live on a 100-foot wide by 106-foot deep piece of property. That's a 1/4 acre. Okay, put things together. Garden tour time. Click thumbs up if your brain ever does that for you and you can't think for anything. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, we'll look at these outer beds and see what's developing and see what's happening. We do have, it's a July garden and it is a wilderness out there. And so in this map in the corner, back to the map, we're going to have this icon here. The circle represents the camera. The arrow represents the direction the camera is pointing, and that's going to be sitting in the map in the corner so that you can kind of see where we're at in the garden. Stick around for part 3. If you haven't seen part 1, that's already come out, and you can see the part 1 is the front and side gardens, and you can see what's been growing out there. There's all kinds of things developing. It's very exciting. Yeah, it's great stuff. But yeah, right where you're at right now, I'm going to extend this picker out a bit, and I'm going to pick a pomegranate because we have 4 of our 9 pomegranate trees right here, and this thing is just out of view. Oop. It's been a while since I've used this. Oh, I see another one up there too. Doggone it, this is gonna be a stubborn one. There we go. Ooh, not quite as ripe as I was hoping, but let's go in. Let's go open this up for just a minute, just to kind of see what the inside looks. Now this is a flower. The whole thing is a flower. I showed this in some of the earlier videos, and in fact, I'll actually show you here in a little bit. This flower develops as a flower, and then as it goes through, in fact, you can see the little parts of the flower inside there. These are not petals. They're something like petals, but the back of the flower swells up with the seed things that you eat. Oh, good grief, what are they called? I'll put it here at the bottom of the screen maybe if I can think of it. Anyway, so let's get on with this. So here we go. It's a kind of a beautiful pomegranate. It is a little greener on the other side than I anticipated, But when you're cutting up, and I got one of Mrs. Bowtie's good paring knives out here in the garden, like I normally do, you want to cut this a certain way. You'll notice there's bulges here, there's dips in here. So one of the things that I like to do is I'll cut in a few of these bulges, like so, with the knife. Kind of get it started with the sections. And once I've made my way all the way around, there it is right there, okay, I will just simply take off the top right here and cut. You see I've got the knife in just a little ways, and you might cut some of the little seed thingies. I still haven't looked that up. Yeah, they're kind of white in there. I wonder how they taste. Oh, actually pretty good. So what happens, those places where you slice this, looky there, it is full of little seeds. They're actually pretty good. These seeds are pretty eatable, very tart. Might have could have stood a little bit longer, but yeah, that's the inside of the pomegranate. And that's how you open a pomegranate. All the little seed thingies. I still can't remember what it's called. These are fairly edible seeds and good for you, very good for you. So yeah, we did not pick pomegranates last year because of the ice, the freeze of Christmas of 22. This is 2024, of course, and so anyway, that is a pomegranate. Let's go on with some more of this garden tour. So Mrs. Bowtie has left the house and has left me completely unsupervised, and so let's get this garden tour underway. And if you'll hear, we always start at the same place, the blackberry vines, and I have started to clear out the blackberry vines in the raised beds. Now, these blackberry vines need cleaning up. Okay, now this here is a new blackberry vine. It's got a lot of green in the stem. This is a good thing. We want to save this. We want to stick it in here and start weaving it and getting this going, because this thing will grow 10, 20 feet long. However, you'll notice some of these are all spent. These are the old vines that need to be cut out. And so what I have in my pocket here is trimmers, just any kind of trimmers that we want to just take out parts of these old blackberry vines that are no longer going to produce. These are 2-year, it is a type of perennial. They last 2 years. The first year they produce floricanes. The second year they produce primicanes. Sorry. Other way around. Primicanes is the first year, floricanes is the second year. The primicane, first year, prima, it actually will start growing and getting length and getting bulk, like we saw right here, getting green, but it's not going to produce flowers this year. The floricane, flora, is going to flower in the spring and become fruit. In fact, we had a lot of fruit. You can see here, we had 10 people here picking blackberries, and some of these will just break off, but they will just kind of clean off real easily, and it's not a very difficult job to do. It's one of the easier ways to clean up the, well, my snippers are not very good. These are just cheap snippers that I've got from somewhere, I don't know. But anyway, I will be cleaning up a lot of these spent blackberry vines in here and cleaning them up and starting to train the new blackberry vines. And like I can see one sticking out. Oh, well, here's one right here. Get that one off there. Here's another one right here, and we're going to train this one, and I do it carefully. I don't want to break it. In fact, let me make this a wider angle so you can see. See, if I bend this too tight, it's going to break the vine, and I really don't want to do that. I want to keep this thing healthy. So, doing this with one hand, like most YouTubers do, I look like a professional. I'm sure of it. Okay, now this one, blackberries do a really interesting thing. This one here is connected down here. So this blackberry vine is growing from the ground down here. Coming up here, and you'll notice the leaves are pointing up, and the vine gets smaller and smaller, and sometimes if you let it sit on the ground, it will actually root itself down there. Now this one I got lucky and caught it before it did. But what it'll do is it'll start rooting and the leaves will start growing the other way. So you have a vine with leaves growing both ways. I've never seen a plant that does that. It's the wildest thing. But anyway, so this is a nice long one that's taken off here. I'm going to grab this thing and I am going to use it as our primary entry cane right here. I like having one of these every year, and I'm again one-handed. Hey, you know what? I've got a tripod right here. How about I just do this? Put this on the tripod. I'm a genius, aren't I? I am a genius. Little nut loose in here so I can grab hold of it, get it all straightened up, and I'm going to take this vine. Hope you can see that. And it damages some of the leaves, but that's okay. Those leaves will correct themselves. But you get the idea here. We now have a blackberry vine to cover the entrance. And you have just now witnessed the placing of that blackberry vine that will be in the beginning of every single outer garden bed tour, because all these in the same order. I start in the same place, and I need to stop doing that thing with the putting on the tripod, and because I just hit the button and stopped the recording. Oops. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot more dead vines in here that we'll be taking care of, cutting out, and starting with fresh new vines is very exciting. I just noticed that we have a big old tomato growing right here. I don't know what this is. I would imagine it is probably an Everglades tomato, as they are coming up everywhere. Oh my goodness, here's another one. These things are going crazy. Everglades tomatoes are awesome. Watch the third part of the garden tours to see the Everglades tour arbor. And then we come to back here, we have our pomegranates. 1, 2, 3, and 4 pomegranate trees. And look up here. Isn't that a thing of beauty? We have tons of pomegranates. I'm going to have to be a little more careful picking them. I got to be able to look on the other side. I mean, way up in there. Look at. Way up in there. They're just covered with pomegranates, and we do have some thunder coming, so you'll hear the booming, but I don't think we're going to get rained on. I think it's going to be our regular rain across the water, the bay, which is that way, and about 5 miles away, maybe 8 miles away, there should be a storm. Very normal for us. So, coming on through here, through the blackberry arbor, these pomegranate trees are interesting because, so the first one we looked at has all those huge pomegranates. I'm going to walk out the back here and look back up at this last pomegranate, and I want you to notice something. First off, right up here there is a magnolia tree which produces a massive amount of shade. And so here up under the shade, these pomegranates are developing a little slower. And you can actually see the flowers here developing on this tree. See the flowers like I was talking about? You've got the little petal looking things on the end, and I'm going to have to put on the screen what these really are called. But you got the petal, and there's actually off to the left, that's a real flower and petals. The backside of that is the fruit that swells up. These things will swell up to the size of a baseball. Isn't that the coolest thing? I think it is. Pomegranates are awesome. So after the pomegranate trees, of course, we have the blackberry arbor. Blackberry. I just did the blackberry arbor. We have the blueberry bushes, and these produced over 32 pounds of blueberries for us this year. They are long spent. That's because we're after the fruiting time, we can start doing any pruning on these. Now, one of the biggest things that I run into these is vines growing over the top of them, and I just pulled off. In fact, here's some of the ivy. I just pulled off of it before we got started. Pretty long piece of ivy, and it's doubled over here at the top. But there is quite a bit of ivy growing in here. I'm going to have to clear up. The first year I did this, it had gotten let go, and it had, oh man, I filled a big trash can with all the ivy I cleared off the top up here. So I try to keep the top clear because those ivy will strangle things. Here's one right here, in fact. Okay, that one's already broken off. But it will strangle the plants and cut them off and make them die. But we do have something else up in here. In fact, if you notice up here, this thing I've been watching all year last year. I was supposed to get it out this winter before production started, and then production started. It's actually not a blueberry. It's something different. In fact, if you go in here, you can see that trunk right there is a different color. Looks completely different than all these. These are the blueberry bushes. This is an invader. And I've got to get in here and cut out that invader. I just trimmed that thing right out. Let me get you back on the tripod, except I'm going to stop the camera this time. So this is going to be a bit of a bear to get into. It's this one right here that I'm going for. And I have to follow that down to the bottom here. Now, I'm cutting this thing with anvil cutters. If this were something I was pruning, I wouldn't be cutting with anvil cutters. I'd be cutting with a bypass cutter. Anvil cutters crush the wood, destroy the wood. Hey, I want to destroy this thing as much as I can. So I've got to climb in here and figure out where that silly little trunk is. And destroy it. And there's the offending tree. It's cutting out the sun for my blueberry plants over here. In fact, I had an area over here that didn't produce very well. I actually can see a whole mess of ivy. Maybe not, I can't tell if it's ivy or not. Anyway, that was actually easier than I thought. I will cut that up later and stick in the trash can. There's like a dozen big, huge blueberry bushes in here. High bush blueberries, very tall, very large. That tallest thing over there, I'm wondering if that is not a blueberry. It is tall, they kind of stick out. And it's growing in the wrong place. Oh, look in here, sure enough. Here's some different leaves growing off that thing. I gotta pull that thing out too. And there's another one gone. Yay. 2 trees. I think that may have been the only 2, or actually there may be one up on the other side. That would be covered by the front and side tour. I do want to show you here though how these blueberries developed. See that right there? That would have been the original blueberry plant that's planted in this area. There's actually a tag hanging up on the fence right there. Tells me what it is. But that would have been the original. Notice there's a lot of breaking off. Well, these things root out and shoot out more shoots, and shoot out more shoots, and eventually shoot out even more shoots. Look at this. 2 feet away, this one has started new plants. So this is a brand new plant over here that will continue to live on. And these are ivy. Now, ow, that has a thorn on it. Ouch, ouch. Silly me. Okay. So, yeah. These blueberries are really cool because they kind of expand. There would be the original back up in there. Look way over here. Starting new blueberry plants over here. And some of these will start to fail. Some of these branches will die. I'll pull out dead branches in the summer, cut them out, and the rest of them will actually do better. There's actually there's this chain link fence here, and it's only what, I don't know, about 20 feet long, 16 feet long. And on the other side, there's shoots coming out from these plants on this side of the fence. Well, I cleared them out, let them have some space last year, actually year before last, and they're coming out green. Now, just like the blackberries, they start with these new green shoots. That's going to be one right there. If I follow that all the way down underneath here, it's growing from right there. So this is a brand new shoot that's going to be healthy for this year. This thing will produce a lot of blueberries. It's an amazing patch. I can't get over this. This was a blessing when we bought this house. It's wonderful. Let me stand back up here and come on around here. Our neighbor's irrigation was just going off. I think he may have turned it off. But we're coming around to the last blueberry plant over here to the Cathedraloupe. Now the Cathedraloupe, it's shaped like the European cathedrals, and it's even pointed the same direction, where at the altar end, There's the nave down there, the transept going there. That way is east, that way is west, just like the cathedrals are supposed to. I just thought it was an interesting coincidence how it landed. I didn't design it that way. I just got lucky. But, oh, looky here. Did you see the shorts on these guys? Where is he? I love my little lizards. These are fun. I know some people don't like these dark lizards, but I think they're so cool. Anyway, so the Cathedraloupe is growing cantaloupe. Now you'll see the plants are starting to grow up. I'm starting to train these things up a little better. Now I do want to point out right here, this one right here. I accidentally pulled that one out of the ground and I see it is failing. It is going to not make it. Doggone it. I pulled it out of pulled the roots out. I tried to bury it back and it's too traumatizing for it, I think. Oh, that's too sad. Anyway, we do have a lot of cantaloupe plants in here, but so far I can only find 2 cantaloupes. Now, the way the cantaloupes work. Okay, folks, you have male and female flowers, okay? So if you look here, I'm looking for, oh, here we go. I'm gonna come around this way. Try not to step on the zinnias. And you can see this is a male flower. Now let me try to find a female flower. Here's a female flower. Now do you see how this flower has behind it a little fruit? That's a little tiny baby fruit, baby cantaloupe. This flower over here does not have one. It is just a stem up behind here. That's the male flower. This over here is the female flower. The bees will, when that thing opens up and provides pollen, it will go over there, pick up pollen, and carry it over to the female flower. And then it will start to develop, once it's pollinated, into something like this. The buds will fall off, and look, oh, I think we may have a problem there already. This would be a cantaloupe. The bud will fall off, the cantaloupe starts developing, but fortunately, we have a slightly bigger one over here. And if I zoom out just a little bit, you can see, looky there, that thing is beautiful. I should have put it in a bag, I can tell already, because the bottom is eaten out. Doggone it, that was my first one. Well, it gets better as the season goes. That's frustrating. Just for the video tour, too. I knew I should have put that inside a bag, inside the sling. Yeah, I'm frustrated. Okay. Well, that's kind of a frustrating thing about the garden if you don't remember how to do things, which is why I do these videos, to remind me of these things, so that I can remember to go in here and put my developing my developing cantaloupe in organza bags. So, that's the cute cantaloupe, and they're still developing. It's July 13th, and these things will continue to develop, and hopefully here, before long, we will start developing fruit off this. I do keep a close eye on it. So over here to the right in our little meadow area, you can see we have a bee box, and the bee box is really looking active. There is a lizard over there to the right, hoping for an opportune moment to get him some snackies. Look at all the bees have stayed away from him. But our bee box has been doing very good. I think they're comfortable. This thing gets direct sun for a couple of hours first thing in the morning. You get around from behind this cattle panel trellis. Anyway, so it gets direct sun first thing in the morning and warms up the hive. This front, in fact, this front and the other side over there gets the sun. And during the day, well, we've got clouds right now. During the day, it gets a little bit of dappled light in from the top left here. Let me zoom out a little more. In from the top left here, and kind of keeps it in the cooler evening a little bit warmer. Now, I'm standing, I don't know, 7 feet from it, and they are not bothering me. They occasionally do, but this hive has been very friendly, very cooperative. I provide them lots of flowers. We have Comfrey down here, which gives us the little purple flowers they like. We have all these Bidens Alba. In fact, the Bidens Alba are becoming a challenge because they are really growing up. In fact, I have to come in through here and pull up a lot of this so that new flowers can develop. And like this plant right here, it's already made its flowers. If I reach down in here all the way and grab a couple of these branches, I will pull that out. Just pull it out by the roots. You know why I'm not worried about that? I do want to keep these Bidens Alba, but I'll throw that over there to get mowed over. Oh, there's an air potato. You saw my recent video on air potatoes. Look-y there. There's something I missed. Anyway, so these Bidens Alba are starting to develop into the flowers are developing, seeding out, and look at my shirt. Do you see all those seeds stuck all over my shirt, all over my pants? I am spreading seeds as I am doing this tour. Talk about multitasking. I am amazing. No, these flowers are amazing. This is what happens to the flower. You see those grabby ends right there? These grabby ends grab onto things and come right out and spread the plant around. It's a little more than I would want to spread around right now, but it happens. I just saw another air potato I'm going to have to deal with. That one right there is big. Oh, yep, sure enough, there's another air potato down here. Go back and look at my video on that. Just came out not too long ago. So I think it came out, what, on the 16th, I think? Anyway, the Comfrey is looking great. There's more Comfrey way back there. We're going to walk that direction here. More Comfrey hidden down under here. This is a great cut and drop plant because it sucks up nutrients from deep in the ground and it just adds nutrients back, and they grow and grow and spread and grow. Eventually I'm going to have to start doing some work on these and keep these back, kind of like these Bidens Alba. I want these Bidens Alba to grow more, so more flowers will develop. These little beautiful little white and yellow flowers that they develop, they are loved by not only the bees but the monarchs as well. In fact, I was walking through the garden the other day and a monarch just walked right past me, flew right past me, and jumped onto one of those flowers and sat there for a while. I didn't have my camera, otherwise I would have taken a video. But the elephant ears, these are temporary, of course. Letting this one grow a bit. Going to try to harvest this one. It's the second year. You see we have a bunch of them growing back in here. These things are just so cool. I love how big these are. They're like big old umbrellas for the beehive, but you can just chop them off, and the guy who needs to come and collect his honey, he can collect his honey. Actually, he needs to get another box on there. I need to remind him of that. But anyway, if you're watching this, Jeff, you need a honey box on here, a super, so you can start getting honey, because I think they'll start producing. Anyway, back here, this is what I call my meadow area. In fact, there's a new addition back here. These are, I don't know what these are. These are something else that make little yellow flowers. In fact, you can see here the little tiny yellow flowers that it makes. Woo! Got buzzed. Okay, I need to get moving. Move along, sir. They're getting a little nervous with me. So yeah, we have here from Jim. Jim gifted me this amaranth. No, not Jim. This is from Bernard. This thing has thorns on it. Yeah, there's definite thorns right there. And I think it's supposed to come out purple. If that blooms, I will be showing it. Brand new, it will spread into other plants. We'll spread those plants to other areas of the yard, etc., etc. Look at the elephant ears. They are just so cool. So looking into my neighbor's compost bin, it is amazingly clear of air potatoes right now, though there are still some in there. I've got to get back in there again. Looking down here, back in the back end of my meadow area, of course, here's that of the Comfrey I just told you about. It's kind of laying over. It got a little abused today as I was recording the other video on the air potatoes, but it's going to be fine. It'll perk right. In fact, you can see here, these leaves are already starting to perk up. This is a very fast grower and a very fast spreader. In fact, this started out, let me just show you here. So there's 1, 2, 3 very distinctly different plants in here. One here, one here, one here. This started off as like 2 or 3 leaves. So it's already starting to spread like wildfire. So we'll eventually be keeping that in control. The fig trees. So I did notice that there are some figs. Now this is kind of under the edge of the shady area. The sun does come right across here, so it gets a lot of afternoon sun. That's the magnolia tree we saw earlier. And here, there's the tall fig over there. Here's the short fig over here. The tall fig is doing good. It's going to end up getting topped a little bit this next winter after the leaves drop. But I did notice, if you look here, see if I can zoom in on this, you can see there is a fig up there. There's actually a few figs up in there I've been discovering, and it is getting exciting because yeah, we might have another very small harvest of figs off of this one. That'd be kind of cool because, you know, we had almost 30 pounds from my friend's fig tree, and it'd be nice if we could get a few more from this. Oh, here's the other ones right here. Let me see if I can zoom in here on, there you go. Look at that. That one on the left actually looks like it could be ready soon, though it does look like it's been pecked by a bird. That doesn't bode well. Oh well. Anyway, the figs are looking strong. These are deciduous, which means they will drop their leaves in the winter. They will look dead because they're just sticks, and we will trim them back. This one will get trimmed back just a little bit off the tips. This one here, I don't want it to grow much taller than that, so we will be topping this at the appropriate point. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss that video to learn how to trim fig trees. And I've learned the hard way. I nearly killed a tree once, and I've been learning how to do this a little better each time. Coming around here, Joanne, you were asking about the Loquat hedge, and here it is. Yeah, looky here. This tree, first off, this is not the biggest one. The second one is the biggest one. This thing is really starting to leaf out. And I saw you over at the UPS store, and I was saying, well, you know, first year it sleeps, second year it creeps, third year it leaps. Well, this thing right here looks like it is getting ready to leap. Look at all these little branches and shoots coming out here. I'm so excited about that. We don't want this to get too very tall. I want to be able to harvest these. This is the second one. There's a third, fourth, and fifth. There's 5 of them in a row. You can see there's the top of the fourth one there. This is the top of the third one, the middle one right there. But anyway, so we will be topping these off at about 8 feet. So this thing here is probably at 7, no, not quite, it's about 6.5 feet right now. And it will grow to the point where we're going to end up topping it off after its production this next winter. Now, okay, different kinds of trees, we treat them differently. The figs are deciduous. They drop all their leaves in the winter, right? We cut them at the coldest point of the year. End of January, somewhere in there for us. We don't really get a frost until December. We really barely get a freeze ever here in the Destin, Florida, the Panhandle. But the Loquat here is an evergreen, and it stays green all year long. So when we want to trim these branches, we have to wait until production time come around, oh, I don't know, January, February is when this thing is supposed to be making its fruit. I don't know if we'll be getting fruit this winter. It'd be cool if we got a little bit. I'm not counting on it, but after the Loquat harvest is done, we'll be topping this thing to the height we want it to be. And that's number 2. Number 1 here will probably get a little bit of topping. Number 3 down there, number 4, number 5 probably will not get touched unless they just take off this year. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. So looking eastward through the Cathedraloupe, and I pan to the right, I'm still standing behind the Loquat hedge, but if I come around here, you'll notice we have a lemon tree. Now right next to the lemon tree here, there is an extra Loquat here that's in a pot that's a backup. And I'm just leaving it there because if I need that backup, it's going to go in one of these holes for one of these trees. But at this point, I don't think I'm going to need it for a backup. But the lemon tree, we got some yellow leaves on, oh, all those yellow leaves are on the one in the pot that's not getting watered, which is another backup. Tons of backups, yeah, I know. Lots of these Bidens Alba are just growing over everything. There's another, in fact, let me walk over here. You can see this other, I can find my way through here. Still kind of walking through my little meadow area. It's another one of those Comfrey plants right down in there. And that Comfrey is growing so strong. It is just amazing. And I'm wondering if it's going to continue to make some flowers. Do they flower again? Hey, tell me in the comments below if you've got Comfrey that will flower more than once in a year. I'm very curious. I've never had it out here in the sunny area like this, so we'll have to see how it does. Over here, my neighbor who is a gardener, wow! Look at his watermelon. Oh my goodness, there's one right there. There's another two over, one there, and another one up right there. Got 4 watermelon growing off that one plant right now that I can see. I bet you there's even more than that, but he has a bit of a garden going over there. One of the things growing in his garden is this birdhouse gourd, and he likes making the bird. In fact, let me see if I can show you his fence over here where he's got a few of these hanging up. There's a few of those birdhouse gourds hanging up, and supposedly the birds will make their nest in them. He said that there were a couple this year, but not very many. But we have growing over here a couple of the birdhouse gourds in here. See there? Isn't that cool? So those are hanging on my side of the fence. Maybe I'll get to claim those too. We'll have to see. You can see he's got them all. They're all over, and they've kind of taken over this fence here, which is kind of what we wanted it to do. It's just we both enjoy this just explosion of growth going through here. And so his birdhouse gourds are growing on one side, and my watermelon are growing through the other. And so my watermelon here, you can see, is starting to develop and starting to become pickable. In fact, I just checked this one right here. It is ready to pick. I had 2 others that I picked this morning that are in the fridge cooling off before we cut it, and we're going to end up having some of that today. Tonight, in fact, you probably can't even see the one right down in there. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, you see it down there? Yeah. Where's the camera? It's right down in there. Is a watermelon. There's a bunch of them in this bed, and I am just enjoying them. We did lose a few of them to the rain. When it rains real hard, they soak up water too fast, and they split. In fact, you can see here on this video that I actually released in a short, it split pretty badly. I'm very sad about that. We lost that big one. There's another good one down here though. We still have lots. We're gonna have lots. I'm just very happy about the production. In fact, there's one more. That biggest one that split was heartbreaking, but there's another one down here that's going to be the next prize. And it's kind of buried. It actually fell off the trellis. I had it strung up and it fell off, and I checked it over. It seems like it's going to be okay. I'm letting nature do its thing with it, but it's probably ready to harvest. In fact, how do we know when a watermelon is ready to harvest? And there's a couple of things you can tell. First off, you want to find the stem here. Okay, see that stem? And you come up to where that stem hits the vine, and you're going to find a tendril. And you see that tendril right there? See how it's all brown? That means this melon is probably ready. That's the first sign, okay? Sign number 1. Sign number 2, give it a little bit of a thump. Kind of sounds hollow. Sign number 3, roll it over. Does it have a nice sunspot? Now this is from Haas Tools, information from Haas. Greg over at Haas Tools, he repeats these every year, and you see there's a little bit of a lighter spot over on this bottom side here. This thing is ready to go. I can pick this anytime. Hopefully I will get to it before the rats do. That's the problem. I do have pests in this garden, and if I can get to that first, problem is right now there's no room in the fridge. Oh wait, Mrs. Bowtie did her casseroles, so maybe there is room in the fridge for that one. That's a big one though. We'll have to pick that and add it to the website. I do keep a log of what I harvest, most of what I harvest. I'm not totally on it all the time, but I do most of the harvest. So the watermelon are going crazy, and over here we have the brown turkey fig tree. This year, I think it's going to be creeping. Last year, it slept. It's kind of in there, hidden in the Bidens Alba, and it will grow up. I'm going to let this thing become a lollipop tree, maybe 8 to 10 feet tall, And it'll start its branches here and become a big lollipop, but it will produce these big brown turkey figs. They can get pretty big, so I'm very excited about that. Yeah, that's gonna be neat. I do need to clear out the Bidens Alba, obviously. In fact, you can see all these are going to seed. Look at this. This is all going to seed, and every time I walk through here, they get stuck on my shirt and my pants. I see there's some leaf flower down there. All kinds of good stuff in here. Yeah. This is a big clump of Bidens Alba right here. And I do leave these things go because the bees and the monarchs love them so much. But if you look right up here, you'll notice, anybody know what that is right there? Those are my Luffa. Yes, like the shower sponge. It's a gourd, people. And those are my Luffa flowers. Those are male flowers. They don't have a baby underneath them. These are mostly male flowers, and this whole trellis over here is my Luffa trellis. And if you look carefully here, I'm going to go on. Oh, looky here. Looky here. There are Luffa. Now, these Luffa, if you harvest them at this size right here, see, they're nice and small. They're a little bigger than my thumb, just slightly bigger. So what you do is you come in here with your clippers, which I have in one of my back pockets here. I'm trying to, there we go. Remember we used the clippers earlier? Well, I still got them. I'm smart that way sometimes. So I'm going to cut that. Now, this is a little tiny Luffa, okay? Now, Luffa grow a lot bigger than that, but this little Luffa, if you cut it up, it will replace zucchini. And the cool thing is, zucchini are hard to grow here, very hard to grow here. And here's another one over here. Zucchini are hard to grow here. These are not hard to grow, and you slice them up and you can grill them up just like you would zucchini, and they are delicious. Mrs. Bowtie has been just totally enjoying them, and I'm just kind of walking around, spinning around here. I see another one right there I need to harvest. I see two more over there I need to harvest, but those are the female flowers. Now these have already developed. I'm looking for a younger female flower. Oh, I see another one right there. Good grief, they're all over the place. But like I was talking about, here's another one right here. Look at that. Now that one's a little big. That one still might be good. It's going to depend on how many Luffa Mrs. Bowtie has in the fridge. There we go. That's a little bit big, but it's still edible. And I see up here on top of the shade cloth, there's another one growing right there. See that one? My goodness, there's a ton of them up here. So what I'm looking for is a female flower. And we do have lots of female flowers in here. I'm just not seeing them. Okay, here we go. I just saw a tiny female flower. So this here is a female flower. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So that's the female flower. Put my hand behind here. And that right there is a baby fruit. Now what's going to happen, this flower is going to develop and open up. Once the bees pollinate it, it will turn into a fruit. Now let me see if I can find one a little bit bigger. I'm just not seeing them because they do develop pretty fast. This thing is just an amazing plant. It is just so abundant. Now these are male flowers right here. Oh, looky there, we have a Asian beetle. And people say, oh, the Asian beetle is terrible. Well, Asian beetle can smell. He's crawling up my finger. Can smell a little bit more than a ladybug does, but they do the same thing. They will, their larvae will feed on aphids, which is one of the reasons why I don't have many aphids. Let me zoom back out here. I'm still looking for one of those female flowers that's getting ready to be pollinated, and I'm not seeing any anywhere. Oh, looky here, another one of my favorite little garden friends. Where'd he go? Oh, he's down. There he is. Hey there, buddy. Smile for the camera. Now, these are our native lizards, the green ones. And these are the ones that everyone likes because they are native. They eat insects. Apparently, they weren't doing a good enough job, so nature brought in backup. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, he disappeared. Anyway, nature brought in other ones, the dark ones. Now that right over there, that is the sign of a female flower that has been pollinated. You see it's already starting to wither. That's going to be, well, it already is a Luffa, but it's going to develop. Very exciting to see so much growth going on in here. How much zucchini or Luffa do you want to grill up in a year? If you love it, this is your thing. Oh, by the way, we make Luffa bread out of this too. Yeah, bread. Grate it up and make your bread. It's very cool. Oh my goodness. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? There's a big one right there. These things do grow fast. Kind of like okra. You have to check them all the time. Over here to the left, there's another one right there. Good grief. Now, right there in the middle of the arch, that is actually my neighbor's birdhouse gourd bush that's growing way over here on my fence. These are all very prolific growers. The jasmine has done flowering, starting to climb up the tree though. I put up some new pieces of wood for them to climb up. I do see for the very first time, oh my goodness, I have not noticed this. They are starting to climb like mad. Look at that. Oh my, let me see if I can zoom in on that. I like playing with my new, look at there, growing all the way up in there. So that thing is really starting to take off. So this year might be its leap year. It's year to leap. Sleep, creep, and leap. That's gonna leap. Oh, it's looking so strong. So past the jasmine trunk and the wood pile, you'll notice, look at my neighbor's corn is gone. He has gotten out here and harvested. I hope he got some. I haven't heard his report. We got a total of about 5 cups of corn kernels plus some seed for next year. So I have harvested all the ears of corn off this patch. There shouldn't be any left. If I find one, I will save it for seed, but we didn't get a lot out of this. So it was a little bit disappointing. We'll survive. We'll figure it out next year. Maybe we'll expand it. To be honest, this is full disclosure. This is the biggest harvest I've had ever of the corn. So I'm learning and I'm feeling like, okay, maybe I just need to go all in next year and expand it from there all the way through here, get rid of the wood pile and actually make a cornfield back here. Wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, so our pomegranate trees on this side. We have 1, 2, 3. Now, that one pomegranate tree there, I have not done much with. I thought it was going to die. This one here, I haven't done much with. I wasn't sure if it was going to survive, but they both have a little bit of pomegranate. That one over there, I have done nothing with. Absolutely nothing. I didn't trim off any of the suckers like I did on the first 4 that I showed you. And there's another one behind that pallet that I have done nothing with. And the interesting thing is this tree here that I have done nothing to have just a few very small pomegranates up there. In fact, maybe I can zoom in here, see if we can find some up here. There's oh, right down in here. Yeah, there's a couple right there in the shadows. There's only a couple of pomegranates there. They're small, they're underwhelming, and I'm beginning to think that maybe not trimming the suckers is not helping them at all. So we will have to see. We got a few elephant ears up under here that I have just kind of let go crazy, and we'll see where these things go. And the mirrors over here, they do not redirect sunlight. They are just for more interest in the back of the garden. They were left over from a project, a flip that I was involved with. I'm a handyman. So yeah, don't think that those are for more sunlight. They're actually facing north, so they don't reflect any sunlight. Over there we have a lemon tree underneath that mess, which I really need to get cleaned up, but I do see lemon tree branches coming out. Oh, that's exciting. This is starting to look strong. I'm thinking I'm going to end up taking out this pomegranate tree, let this lemon tree take over, though I see there's another kind of tree right here that I've got to cut out because it's going to start fighting it. So this is my source of comfrey. I nearly killed all my comfrey in my garden when we first moved in here, and before I did it all, I had about this much left. And I realized what it was. Oh, comfrey. And so I left this over here set, and it popped out the other side, so you can see there's more comfrey over there now. And this spring I dug up some of those, and we planted them over in a few other places, and now we're coming back to comfrey. Very excited about that. Coming back over here to the pots. not much going on here. Wasted pot that needs to have something done with it. This is one of my aloe pots that I'm kind of protecting. I've left in here. I need to do something with these to try to get these to come back. They have not bloomed for me this year at all. We had freezes. They don't like that. Coming over here, here's another lemon tree. This lemon tree, even though it looks like it's in a pot, it is in ground. And there's another lemon tree back down over here that I'm wondering if it will ever come back. Down here by this bicolor, something bicolor, Dietes bicolor grass. And I've got to do something with these. I see they've got some fungus or something growing on here. That's a fungus. What is that? Ooh, it looks like a fungus. Is that a good thing? It doesn't really look to be hurting it too bad. Little lizard crawling around down in there. Anyway, yeah, there's this other lemon tree might be trying to come back. I don't know. This was my star performer before the freeze of Christmas 2022. I'll have to see. Anybody want a Loquat tree? These are available. Just let me know. We can get them to you. More than happy to get rid of those 8 trees. Anyway, this is another kind of aloe. This one actually blooms a different color. It's very beautiful. Lots of this dollar weed in here. The compost, not much has happened here. Same load. A couple more cuttings of grass have been added to the top. All I do here with this is add grass and leaves as I collect them. And I will come in here, pull back a little bit, and in fact, you can see. Let's see if, excuse me, Mr. Lizard, let me borrow this. See if we can get some steam coming out of here. I don't know if you can see the steam out of here. Oh, it's definitely warm. Yeah, I can feel the heat. Not enough for steam, though. Interesting. Anyway, it is hot. It's killing the seeds of the weeds and the stuff that's in there. Very, very seldom do I ever see anything grow here because I keep adding to it. I don't really turn it. Down here, I still have about a foot of seaweed, which this all needs to get flipped over into this bin, and that seaweed will be added in to it. There's actually a whole bunch of seaweed already in it. This is going to be a phenomenal pile when it's done this year. So some of you real southerners out there may recognize this. It's an okra. Young okra. Doesn't get better than that. You'll need to subscribe. Follow along on our part 3 of our garden tours and see how the okra are growing. They are thick and hardy. However, it's going to be a big change. We're going to shake it. We're going to shake it up this winter in the okra department. So next year it's going to be great. Be sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss what we're doing. We're going to get something better. Anyway, so that's just about it. Oh, in fact, you can see here on this weather map, I shot this map of the clouds as they're coming across, and they're about 10 miles away, like they normally are. It's very common. I actually shot some video, some time-lapse video years ago of the clouds as they're forming way off in the distance. They never come here, or well, they do, but it's very seldom that they come here. So our weather has been pretty stable. We have been looking at mostly 90-degree days, not in the 90s, I mean 90 degrees. Our mornings are 82, which is just barely below the highs. The highs and the lows are very close to each other because we're surrounded by water, and the water has a tendency to keep our temperatures stabilized to a normal, which means some things like tomatoes don't get a chance to cool down at night, and they don't benefit from that. So that's a problem, obviously, that we kind of have to live with, and you can see that in the next part also. We have tomatoes growing. But anyway, I will take these into Mrs. Bowtie for cooking. Be sure to comment if you have any other things you want to see more of. That maybe you saw just an overview of something in this video and you'd like for me to cover more. Please let me know what you would like to see more information on, and I'd be happy to do that. I love hearing from y'all. It really makes things just improve that much better because I can produce videos that more and more people want to see. And so, you know, in those same comments, ask questions, share your experiences in the comments. I love responding, love communicating with y'all, having conversations and everything. Be sure to like and share this video too. It's a way to help support the channel, help the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel. These are free. Everything I've said here is free. Free things you can do to help support the channel. And I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. You've made Bowtie life what it is today. And have a blessed day.